It's the top of the hour, so I'd say let's get going.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's get going. So you can have the full hour to share with us this what you got going on. I just want to say to the group, David and I talked yesterday, and I came away feeling really inspired about what's going to happen here today. So welcome. My name is Chris. I'm going to be hosting and holding down some of the tech stuff, and I am excited to introduce David Martinez. I would like to just, a gentle reminder to folks to please keep yourself on mute. I will do my best to keep folks on mute also, in service of everyone having a great virtual conference experience. So with that being said, I'm going to do a brief intro here. So David Martinez. David has a long history of various types of somatics and embodiment experience and learning, starting with his first career as a professional modern dancer. He's created a group somatic practice called imBODIED. That's with an I, which pulls together aspects of somatic awareness, contemporary movement practices, nervous system regulation, energy and bodywork principles, and somatic coaching. He's also a certified somatic coach through Strozzi Institute, and he currently splits his time between LA and San Francisco in the United States. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to you, David.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep.
Amazing. Hello, everyone. So to start, let's sort of set the container. Yeah. You know, I thought about how to format this for a webinar, something over Zoom, which is amazing. And in the end decided, you know what, we're going to sort of do an experiment. We're going to look at like the edges, the limits of what Zoom can do for a group somatic practice and embodiment. And I'm actually going to go ahead and together we'll see if we can do an embodied class over Zoom. So first and foremost, if you have the capability to turn on your video, it'd be great to see you. Depending on the space you have, there is going to be movement, and I'm going to be standing up and taking a little bit more space, and you are welcome to use all of your space that you have available. If you are in a chair, perfect. If for you it feels better to have your video off, perfect. What I ask is that everyone do as they can to contribute into the collective experience that we're going to have. So first and foremost, a little information about how an embodied sort of think about embodiment. One of the beautiful things about these 2 weeks is that we're going to get to see all sides of the mountain for what embodiment means for different folks and sort of pull it all together into one big definition / experience. I really hold that embodiment is being centered in and moving from all the various levels of our bodily experience. So you have thoughts, emotions, sensations, we have our physical form, we have actually taking that form into action, the actions we can take, maybe the actions we can't. We have what happens in the relational space, which is very co-created. And one that I've recently added is the mystery, how the mystery lives in our soma. And in this practice, we want to get an experience of that centering in and moving from, including all of those various dimensions. I think the thing I want to add in, I'm super aware being in LA and in California, we're having fires, and I split my time between San Francisco Bay Area and LA. And so I want to ground today's practice in a bit of a theme, that theme being the precariousness of life. So whatever that means for you in whatever region of the world you're in, whatever your sort of view is about the world today, I want to offer that into the space of what's it like to be with the precariousness of life. And for those who are interested, who have the space, I want to invite folks to get up Or if you're sitting, if you're lying down, first and foremost, we're going to move into a bit of a practice in a moment, but as you come to where you want to be for this practice, take a moment, and the question that I'd like to send out into the Zoom ether, what's your longing? One of the things about embodied is that we want to start to identify the ways in which what we experience in our bodies, the states as they change, the sensations that come, how they actually are tethered to who we are and how we are. Yeah. So to begin, I want to ask everyone, whether you can move or you're stationary, start to notice what's around you. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and walk since I have the space and invite you to as well. Hopefully you can hear me as you also see me moving around. Check out the colors of your walls, quality of the light. Notice how much space is actually in the area where you are. Someone earlier, looks like there's a horse, someone's outside, tons of space. Maybe you have the texture of nature, maybe you have a pattern, a plant. Start to move around the space where you are, sort of arriving wherever you are going to be at for the practice. And I want to ask folks, go ahead and unmute yourself if you can. What are you noticing? What are you seeing around you? One thing. Or if it's easier to type it into the chat. Noticing the space.
Objects in the
Somebody's with a
space.
guitar. Objects. Any object in particular draw your attention? Clutter.
A shelf with things hanging from it and a postcard.
Awesome. Thanks, Paige. Calligraphy. Wow. Yeah. So as we begin, the first thing I want to call out is our capacity to notice is totally online. Yeah. It's working. We know how to notice. Yeah. Now I want to invite everybody to orient yourself toward your screen, your phone, your monitor. I would really encourage folks to do the grid view. Notice who's here with us, whether it's in form, name. Yeah. I think we're at 30 people in this practice together. Yeah. We've got some folks outside. I see someone's blind. We've got a bunch of folks inside. It's nighttime. It's sort of dark in some, bright in others. Hi, Mary, just joined in. We have gone from noticing the space that we're in and what it looks like to checking out the folks who are in the session with us. Yeah, awesome. See some names. So now let's go back to this idea of our longing. And Chris, I want to go ahead and at this point, let's send folks into a breakout room. We're going to do about 4 people for about 6 minutes. And with whoever you land with, you know, 1 word, 1 sentence, 2 sentences max. What's your longing? And then we'll meet back in the group.
Okay, everyone, so I'm going to go ahead and put you into breakout rooms. Do know that it can take a minute or so for everyone to get to your room, so have a moment of patience. And if you're the only one in that room, just hang tight for a minute because I'll put you in another room with someone else. So, all right, here we go.
Awesome. And as folks join back into the room,
David, it looks like we are all back here now.
amazing. Hi, everybody. So we're not going to share in the larger group right now. We're going to go ahead and move into practice for all who are here, all who've joined. And as I mentioned earlier, if you have space to get up, I really invite you to take it. If you want to be on your seat and stay in that spot, what we're going to do is I want to invite us all to move into a centering practice. Yeah. Finding a space, whether you're standing, sitting, video on, off, in whatever way you know how, I want to invite you to turn your attention inward. Yeah, we've checked out the environments we're in, we've checked out each other. Now is an invitation to go inside. And to start, I want to invite everyone to move from the thinking self, often up here, into the feeling self. And imagine you can, from the top of your head, really take the elevator down. Let your awareness start to lower from your head, past the jaw, throat, chest, belly, to 2 inches below the navel. Sometimes it's helpful to put a thumb in your belly button and rest your hand there. It's that space in that bowl. And I want to actually invite you to take the elevator down even further, beyond the pelvis, between the thighs, knees, lower legs, ankles, feet. And check in with this dimension of your length. It's often said this is the dimension of dignity, or you can think about it as literally us standing on our own 2 feet to come to standing, standing for, standing with. And I want to invite everyone, go ahead and where your feet are at the floor, push into the floor like 20, 25%. As if you're pushing the floor away, and release. And push into the floor and release. And now where your feet are on the floor, what happens if you imagine actually that the floor is rising up to meet your feet? The floor is doing its job, steady, consistent. That the floor is supporting you. And I want to take just a quick moment and ask if someone's able to unmute and share, what's one thing that you notice in this beginning practice? And if you're by the chat and it feels better to type something in, I can see those also.
It centers my awareness in my body and brings me into the present.
Is there a particular part of your body that it brings you into most?
Mm. Well, I focus on wherever that is, like my feet.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Paige. See the dual of gravity up versus body. It's cut off. Maybe it says body down. Yeah, I love that. Actually, Philip, thank you. Let's try something else. Yeah, in this length dimension, everybody go ahead and drop and give into gravity. Yeah, like as collapsed, oh, as you could be. Gravity wins. Yeah. Yeah. What happens if from the feet to the floor, we sort of animate inside ourselves to resist gravity? You're in the ocean. Yeah, you get into the water and you're a little more buoyant. Yeah, and collapse, gravity wins. Ugh. And animate up away from gravity. Yes. Wow, beautiful. Wow, yeah, there's even a yawn. Awesome. So we're gonna go into the next dimension, yeah? I love it. Tana has a big yawn going. So the next dimension, I want to invite everyone to envision, sense into your edges as if you are in a coloring book. Yeah, just this sort of human outline. Your width, the sides of your body, the sides of your head and neck, edges of your shoulder, outer arms, torso, thighs. So this is the dimension often said of connection and relationship, of really being shoulder to shoulder with others in life. Notice if there's any motion or movement, anything is dense or tense, or maybe it's open, slack. Maybe as we deepen into the practice, there's a shift in temperature. Maybe you have some narratives running, some familiar stories, some new stories. Maybe you're going, what the hell is this? Yeah, maybe you've got some emotion that comes up, yeah? All of it gets to land in the question of, what do you notice? Someone says it feels more vulnerable. The question I'd pose to the group is, from a place of connectivity, connecting with others, how important is it that we have access to our vulnerability? Yeah. So next, I want to invite folks to feel the space behind you. What is at your back? Yeah, I have this wall. Sense into the air as if the air were coming up and going to sort of hug up against your back body. Yeah. We shift into our depth, which really holds everything that's come before us, whether that's our lineage or the collection of all of our experiences. And now turn your awareness. What can you sense up ahead in front of you? How much space is ahead of you? What do you sense in this sort of front body that we present to the world? In this dimension of our capacity for envisioning what's ahead and moving toward. Yeah. I'm a bit afraid of falling, someone says. So on behalf of that feeling of fear of falling, let's everyone ground our feet into the floor. And once again, as we did earlier, give a slight push and release, push and release. And as a teacher used to say to me, trust me, the floor is not that far away. Yeah, we get both. Let's take care of our fear of falling. I feel lighter. Yeah, awesome. So I want to invite, what's one thing that you've noticed? If someone's willing to come off of mute and just share a quick something that came up. It could be a sensation, it could be a thought, a feeling. Let's see, my chest is more open. Oh, I'm judging myself. Beautiful. Yeah. What's it like when in these embodiment practices, when we come to meet ourselves, we meet those parts of us that we know so well. One of them might be a judger. Yeah, it might be a sort of critique. Yeah, what else? Ooh, so moving forward. One more. Anyone willing to go off of mute and share with their voice? Moving forward, standing still.
I'll go. I noticed
Tana.
that I have more space ahead of me than I had been telling myself.
Oof.
And it brought emotion of relief.
An emotion of relief.
Yes.
Yeah, to realize that you actually had more ahead of you, more space ahead of you than you had been aware of.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Tana.
Thank you.
Great. So for those who have sat down, or maybe you're still standing, let's connect back to our feet on the floor. Yeah, someone, Yasha says, I feel boxed in. So Yasha and everyone. So thus far, we've been working with some of the principles of embodied. We've worked with room to notice. We've worked with room to be with. We've been in a sort of unfolding process of what we can notice, what's happening. Yeah, there might be a shift. Someone said they feel more open, going from maybe a little bit more restricted, feeling more open. Someone said lighter. Yeah. The next is room to move. Yeah, so many of us feel stuck or static, or we know an embodiment and shaping of self, it's all built on the contraction. And what we want to start to invite in is, imagine just a sway. Yeah, we'll start with a really easy, gentle sway. We allow ourselves to move. And the second half of this, which is so important, is we also allow ourselves to be moved. That if let's say I push into the floor, there might be a chain reaction. I might sense something as a result of an action I take, yeah? And as we're swaying, stay in that process of noticing. Is there more motion? How is your energy flowing? Is there a tightness, a pulling away from? And I want to invite everyone, whether you're up or whether you're seated, check in with your spine. Yeah, we want to just, even here at the start, imagine that, we have however many vertebrae. I'm sure there is somebody here who's amazing at anatomy and knows the exact number. Yeah. What happens if we double that number? Yeah. As if you're in water, maybe you're seaweed. Yeah. What we want to start to do is feed our nervous system the idea that it has more space than how we typically live. Yeah. Like in water. Yeah. 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 So what we're doing is we are literally telling our nervous system, oh, there's actually like a bit more room here. Yeah. And I want to invite folks, let's see what happens if we start to invite curves in the body. So this sort of sway can go into our ankles, knees, hips, lower back, chest. Yeah. And again, everybody collapse, gravity wins. We pull up, we animate up, We partner with gravity, yeah? And what happens if in these curves, we go from one curve to 4 curves, yeah? Let's say we curve our arms, legs, head, yeah? Whatever feels available to you, yeah? What happens if we go to 8 curves? Beautiful, yeah. Notice, how much are you doing this? How much do the curves need you, yeah? What is it to allow ourselves to be moved? And then also notice what's drawing your attention, yeah? Somebody's on their phone, somebody's looking out a window, yeah? Somebody sees their green wall behind them. Maybe you have a sense of a tightness. Maybe you're in the room, I see a few where there's a few people together, there's a yawn. Maybe you have a story going, a thought of, ugh, this part of my body, I don't like to move. Yeah, nothing like movement to bring people to their edges. Their comfort zone goes away, huh? Yeah, whatever you notice, yeah? And now I want to invite everyone to turn up the volume on the curves, 50%, yeah, louder. Yeah, turn up the volume 80%. 90%, yeah, you're about to get in trouble. Speakers might blow. 100%. And now turn the volume down. Turn the volume down. Ooh. Turn the volume down to a 1. Almost as if only you know these curves are happening. I want to invite you at this moment, include whatever your breath is doing. It could be holding, shallow, big, no difference. Include your feet on the floor. Include the space that you're in. Look past the monitor. What's behind your computer? What's behind your phone? Is it bright? Dim? Maybe you feel more anxious. Maybe you feel more relaxed. Maybe you're still. Maybe you're agitated. Let's hear from a few folks. Yeah. What are you noticing? What's going on? A bit nauseous. Like water. What else? Energized. Buzzing. Heartbeat faster. So who would be willing to hop on, off mute, and share one piece that has sort of already grabbed their attention in this practice? What have you noticed? Could be anything. Could be a quality of energy, could be I'm bored. Yeah, anything. Warm.
So I moved differently since I had a brain injury, And
Mhm.
I've been using embodiment and movement to explore
Mhm.
that, like with my
Awesome.
feet and my toes and walking. That definitely has shifted my perception of all of that and the quality of my movement. And I'm expanding that. Yeah, I was just standing, and I can stand now with relaxed feet, and if I just stayed there, then I can move everything else more easily. But it's also a question of creating more space.
Mm. How does creating more space help, Paige?
If I can expand my awareness of things and say stretch my up my spine a bit. And like in the last session, it was about noticing the space and expanding that awareness. And I can move a bit easier that way.
Awesome. Thank you, Paige. Thank you. Yeah. So we're going to go into the next principle from wherever you are. And this class is usually 90 minutes. So a good 50-minute version is, oof, yeah. So I think what I want to invite everyone to do is, if your arms go to your side, yeah, what is it like if you push as like a steady push? Yeah. You keep pushing. Keep pushing. Yeah. And then what happens if in this push, you turn up the volume? Yeah, maybe you need to take a bigger stance. Yeah. And you turn up the volume a little bit more. Yeah. And then what happens if in this push, you play with adding in the idea of letting yourself get a little weaker? A little weaker. And then if you bring those arms in, what happens, almost as if you're like a bodybuilder, yeah? In your whole body, if it tenses up or you sort of freeze into being a sculpture, yeah? Whatever shape you're in and you're stuck, what happens if you start to want to leave that shape? And you make another sculpture shape, yeah? Include your breath, include the room you're in. And we want to make another shape. Yeah. And now remember the seaweed, yeah? What happens if is in this stuck spot, we bring in that feeling of the seaweed in the spine? What happens? What happens in your system? What happens in your breath? And we go back to the push. And we bring in the water. From here, everybody, super fun if you're sitting. Imagine you have a ball in your pelvis. It's a lottery machine of one ball, and you want to move it around. It's bouncing around in there. What happens? How can you keep it afloat? Yeah. And now, rather than one ball, you have 5. Yeah. And you're keeping 5 balls up in the air inside you. They can come into your legs, maybe use a knee to keep it up, maybe use an arm, head. Yeah. And what happens if you then have 50 balls? Yeah. All bouncing inside. Maybe they're emails. Maybe it's an item on your to-do list. Yeah, keep them up. Keep them up. Yeah. And what happens if Like you flip a switch, you let them go. So the fourth principle of embodied is room to include more. So often in embodiment, so often in healing, particularly with trauma, nervous system, yeah. There can be a way in which we are so focused on what many of you will know about down-regulating, relaxing, calming down, stop and pause. And embodied really asks the question of, where do we learn to feel safe? Running energy, actually activating. Yeah, notice what's going on in your system. Yeah, notice what's running. I want to invite everyone. We're going to go into the final sort of phase here, which is room to choose. And everyone take one hand, no matter which one on your head and one on that spot with your thumb in the navel, hand right below. Notice your room. Again, look beyond the screen, look beyond me. I'm just sort of standing here. See how the light has shifted, if it's shifted since we started. Certainly here in LA it has. Temperature. Check in with your length, your width, your depth, what's behind you, in front of you. And I'm gonna be quiet for a moment. And what I want to invite you into, watch your system settle. Even if you have thoughts going, include more than just your thoughts. What else is there? And from this place, what's your longing? And Chris, I want to invite you to go ahead and let's do our final breakout. Sending folks into the breakout rooms to share once again, groups of 4, about 5 minutes max. From this place, from this moment, what's your longing?
And I'm going to go ahead and put you all into breakout rooms. Again, have patience as that process happens.
Folks who decide not to go into a breakout room, would you be willing to share your longing if you want to hang out, or we can just wait? But if there's anybody who decided not to go into a breakout room and is hanging out, feel free to share. And Chris, if you would give them some sort of a 3-minute, you've got 2 more minutes, it'd be awesome. Someone said they were vibrating. What I can do with holding my breath, settling. pushing outward. Hmm. Hmm. Totally. Hmm. Hmm. Thanks, Katie. Hmm. 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 Like coffee in the coffee cup that has been swirling around. Hmm. System slowly quieting. It's inspirational. Hmm.
Okay, I'm going to close the rooms and folks will be back within a minute. I'll let you know when folks have returned, David.
Cool. Thank you. Hmm. 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 Hmm.
Okay,
Folks who are
David,
joining
everyone
back
should
in.
be coming back, should be back.
Yeah, it's funny, I want to invite everybody to notice the faces as they're joining back in. See if you notice anything different. Yeah. So who would be willing to enter into a quick, I mean, again, I think we have a few minutes left, a quick dialogue just to share not what your longing is, but what really stood out for you in the practice? What felt really important that you experienced? Someone maybe we haven't heard from yet. Lots of folks on the call. Anybody new want to jump in?
Hey.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, go in. Yeah.
Yeah, well, for me, it was just, there was a lot of criticism coming up, judgment, criticism. I found it quite challenging to keep my mind on the practice.
Mm-hmm.
I would just keep on criticising all the time and stuff like that. So that was interesting.
Yeah, and is there anything in the actual physical practice that you were able to connect with?
Yeah, see when I moved faster.
Mm.
Oh yes, oh yeah. Then I felt more free. The negativity and chat went away. I just felt alive and happy. And then once you said switch it from a 10 to 1 and go very, very slow, I felt like so controlled. Felt like really controlled and yucky.
And is that familiar for you? That moving quickly seems to sort of allow everything to come into alignment, and slowing down and quieting is a little more difficult.
Yeah, I find that, yeah.
Yeah.
I find Qigong and Yin yoga really help with the relaxation, you know?
Yeah. Would you mind sharing with the group what your longing is? This maybe the last longing, yeah.
Connection and connection with my fellow tribe, connection to heal others, to spread the healing kind of word, connection for play, touch and movement. Yeah, just healing comes up a lot with me, like running retreats, healing others, connection, tribes thing. Yeah.
Do you have a sense of, from this practice, what you may have gained that can really sort of help you on the path of connecting more and healing with others and connecting to your tribe?
Probably just getting out of the head more and into what's actually happening in the physical kind of body. Like, am I breathing shallow just now? Am I holding my breath? Am I holding my shoulders up high? Like, and just realizing that and just going, relax.
Can I offer you something?
Yeah.
Sounds to me like the mandate to relax is not necessarily where your mind calms. That in fact, calm could be, it could be finding calm and stillness and center. Yeah. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
So we have 1 minute. Anybody else just want to throw a comment out there? Yeah, we don't have to. So typically in this, we would sort of go around and more people would contribute. And what we really hope to do is to sort of illuminate that, like, perhaps, yeah, it's always a sort of question. What we experience physically or what stands out for us, it might actually just be part of the thing that is our path towards our longing, towards our learning, towards our healing. Yeah. Who, again, 1 minute. Anybody want to throw something out, a quick experience, or also in the chat, if you want to sort of do fingers of flames, feel free. I saw a hand up with a guy and yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let's get my mic. So, yeah, hi, David, everyone. What was really fascinating to me is to feel how my sense of longing expanded so much after doing the exercise, that before there was sort of a way it was condensed, and I think a little bit influenced by the mind, and it's like, oh, here's the package of longing. And afterwards there was, wow, this very spacious, expanded sense that included longing in so many more dimensions, that there's more rhythm to that, more more possibilities, and that it actually, that happening reflected part of what my longing was, to be more fully present in all the different dimensions myself. So it was really quite a beautiful practice for me. Thank you.
Thank you. So everyone, thank you for coming Saturday night. Yeah, thanks so much. And Chris, I know I have to hand it over to you, and I'll also be the coffee stuff. And I think Chris added my website if you want to get in touch. Chris, take it away.
Hi, everyone. David, thank you.
Yeah.
I have some announcements to make. But David, after I make those announcements, we're going to come back to you. And if you could give us your final either message about the body or your #1 tip for staying embodied.
Got it.
So I'm going to let you chew on that while I just a couple of announcements here. So I did put in the chat box David's website, imBODIED.co, and note that's with an I. And do know that we do have a partner charity that we're working with in Russia that works specifically with the LGBTQ community there. And so for more information, I'm going to put that also in the chat box. If you'd like recordings of this conference, or you'd like to listen to recordings, I know there's been so much happening. I haven't gotten a chance to listen to everything, that's for sure. You can stream the recordings for free for the next week. And if you'd like it for the longer haul, for the longer term, they can be purchased. And I also just put that link in the chat box. And what is coming up next at 2 a.m. UK time or 6 p.m. Pacific time here in the United States, Dr. David Bercelli, creator of Trauma Releasing Exercise, also known as TREE, will be presenting. So that's, I'm excited to see what's gonna be happening there. And I think that's all for my comments. Well, actually, one last thing is that after David gives us his last comment, we will go into what's called the coffee break, where people can hang out and kind of debrief about how this was for them for 15 minutes. And so that will be in breakout rooms. So, and with that, David, your last words to bring us home.
Yeah, direct experience is the medicine. Yeah, and whatever that is. Yeah, if I can use the guy who spoke up, we so often have these ideas of what good embodiment is or good healing is, and yet that's not what we're experiencing. Yeah, we're terrified of what we're experiencing. And that actually, like, I love this thing of like the shoulders going up, of like what opens up if we get to just experience that urge to like move fast or have our shoulder or calm down, right? Like the full range. Yeah. Anything more than that, get in touch. I'd love to chat. Check out the website. I'll be in the coffee breaks. Direct experience is the medicine is sort of one nugget, but there's sort of tons of others I'd love to chat with you all about. And thank you.
Thanks, David. I like that. Direct experience is the medicine. I'm going to have to chew on that one also. All right, everyone. With that, we're going to call this presentation closed. I really appreciate everyone showing up for this. Here in the US, it's a late Saturday evening, so appreciate your presence.